Thrill. The feeling chased by adrenaline junkies everywhere. The excitement you get while going down the biggest drop on a roller coaster or swimming in a pool full of sharks. But if the feeling of thrill stems from daring experiences, how do films elicit real fear in viewers without them ever leaving their seat? Obviously, the answer lies on the screen. Take Jordan Peele's Get Out, for example. The film follows Chris, a young African-American man, as he travels into the middle of literal nowhere to meet his white girlfriend's family for the first time. Upon arriving at their home, he is immediately put on edge by the strange behavior of their African-American servants. However, the servants aren't the only ones with strange demeanors. Enter Rose's overly violent brother, creepy hypnotist mother, and psychosurgeon father. Unsurprisingly, the family turns out to be second-generation psychopaths who have dedicated their family legacy to the abduction and brainwashing of African Americans. This plot alone is enough to make your skin crawl, especially when comparing the narrative to problems in today's society. But still, the action of the film is overlaid with significant elements of cinematography, editing, and sound that make for a truly frightening experience. Take the sunken place scene, for example. The scene opens with a close-up of creepy hypnotist mother as she softly tells Chris,
"Tell me when you found it."
The image then cuts to Chris, who is sitting extremely stiffly in the chair across from her and looking very uncomfortable, as most people would if their girlfriend's creepy mom exploited their deepest secrets the first time they meet her. The yellow lighting in the scene creates an eerie mood that is backed with soft suspenseful music and the unsettling noise of hypnotist mom stirring her teacup. The teacup sound is irritatingly repetitive and helps establish the extreme discomfort present in this scene. Next, we start to hear the sound of rain, which leads to a flash into Chris's memory. This is where a lot of the lighting changes start to come into play. The memory is easily differentiated from present day because it shows a dark room with blue light, as opposed to the yellow light in the present scene. And again, we see a flash into the blue light with his hand scratching a chair. The noise of the scratching is emphasized and is very prevalent in the scene as an auditory representation of Chris's fear. Chris's extremely fearful reaction reflects over to the audience and creates a sense of impending doom. The scene escalates when hypnotist mom tells Chris to sink into the floor. He stutters in confusion and alarm, to which she responds with one word:
Sink.
The lighting immediately changes from the yellow light to the blue light of the flashback, before changing into a completely different blackness. While Chris falls through the floor, a strange sinking sound effect comes on. Hypnotist mom's voice also deepens slightly as she says the word
Sink,
making her sound slightly demonic, if she didn't already. The camera shows an angle of Chris from behind while he is inside the black void. This angle allows us to see hypnotist mom, except now it appears that she is the sole light coming from a TV-shaped frame in the middle of black nothingness. Chris then appears to float in a sort of anti-gravity way, similar to the way an astronaut would walk on the moon. His floating is paired with a sound that can be described as wind going through a tunnel. Next, the music comes further into play as we hear consecutive minor chords from an orchestra that provide a sense of impending doom. During these sound effects, the camera angle begins to shift to show Chris as he falls past the camera, thus furthering the image of the void. His body is shrouded in white, glowing clothes, which create a stark contrast against the blackness. Chris lands on the bottom of the massive blackness and begins to stand up. The camera then shows Chris from above as he looks up from the ground at creepy mother's TV screen. This angle suggests that Chris is powerless against hypnotist mom as he looks up at her. We then see Chris again from above in the complete blackness as he begins to silently panic, reach up, and yell for help. His inability to make any actual noise creates a sense of hopelessness and a lack of control that is unnerving to watch. Scared yet? One of the most frightening things about Get Out is the realistic approach to editing that makes the narrative seem more plausible. Through the use of visual, aural, and emotional stimulation, thrillers are able to bypass a person's knowledge that they're watching a film in order to evoke a real emotional reaction. These stimulations trigger a person's fight or flight instinct as if they were actually in the situation themselves. So, next time you watch a horror or thriller film, take note of your surroundings, as you may find that while watching a character's fearful endeavors, you also lose your own grip on reality.